So as I promised in the last Indy 500 Evolution video, the point standings are absolutely as tight as they probably could be, where you can only score in the first 8 positions. A.J. Foyt leads with 20 points in the championship over Jim Clark's 18. I am third with 13 after a victory at Milwaukee. Roger Ward in fourth, close behind with 11 points, and Parnelli Jones with 10. Those are probably the most realistic shots of the championship at the moment. They're all within a race of A.J. Foyt. Were A.J. to score no points, potentially Parnelli Jones could tie him. Roger Ward, myself, and Jim Clark could all take the championship lead, but it's Langhorne, and generally a short oval tends to favor roadsters and also tends to favor a guy like A.J. Foyt, who can drive the wheels off of it even in a video game. So, what will happen at PUKE Alley, Langhorne Speedway? Find out in Indy 500 month. So, Bill Cheeseburg is on the pole, or not on the pole, well, he will be on the pole when he completes his run. 124 miles an hour, that's faster than the cars were at Milwaukee. So, that tells you, as Parnelli Jones goes onto the pole, that's exactly what he needs to do with the championship. This is a faster track than Milwaukee, even though it is a mile oval. Well, it's technically a mile circle. A.J. on the pole takes it away from Parnelli Jones. So, like I said, the roadsters are up front, but we haven't seen any of the rear-engine cars, and interestingly enough, the championship contender, Jim Clark, is nowhere to be found. So I guess he's forfeiting his championship hopes. I'm guessing he's chasing another Formula One championship, and I don't blame him on that one, but good grief, dude, you're in the second place in the championship, and you skip Langhorne, but I don't know, I'm not Jim Clark's manager, I wouldn't know. So, AJ's on the pole, Len Sutton's about to go out. He has also scored points in the championship, but again, realistically, now it's between 4. Parnelli, Roger Ward, AJ Foyt, and me, and I'm out to qualify next. You may have heard me call Langhorne Speedway PUKE Alley. That's a real thing. They really called it this, because of course it's a circle. It's a complete circle. Yeah, sure, maybe some parts are flatter than others, and one section of the course is uphill and the other is downhill, but again, you're turning constantly. Constant radius track here. It was originally a dirt oval, then converted to a pavement oval in the mid-60s, and then torn down for a target, for what I understand. Those in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, who have commented on these videos in the past, have let me know that. So, rip Langhorne Speedway. I hope the target was worth it. Anyway, I did not get off of the final stretch very well there. Again, I hesitate to say corner because the whole thing is a corner. But 126 miles per hour. Believe that's the pole speed, if I'm not mistaken, and ironically enough, that's as fast as I was running in Milwaukee. So I guess my mile oval pace is pretty good. It also means the AI are pretty terrible at Milwaukee, if that means they're this much faster at Langhorne. And coming around to complete another lap, 127.4, okie dokie. Much better. And it's kind of funny too, because Jim Clark isn't here. I won't say that takes the pressure off, but in some ways it actually adds more pressure, because that's one less person that can take away points from AJ. So, not sure how this is all going to go, but I think we're going to take the pole position away from AJ, but this lap isn't as good as the last one. 127.4. And no real surprise there. On the pole position I go. Pretty shallow entry list here, as it usually is at Langhorne. And let's take a look at the starting grid. So it's AJ starting alongside me at 125.3. Bobby Grimm, Lloyd Ruby, Parnelli, and Johnny Rutherford all in the 125 mile per hour range. Then Cheeseburg, Branson, and Roger Ward, the other championship contender, a little bit further back in the field. He's not even in position to score points yet. He'll have to make that up on the track. So let's get ready and go racing at PUKE Alley, Langhorne.
Welcome to the unique Langhorne Speedway. This near-circular one-mile oval is actually constructed on the side of a hill, and while it may look like a walk in the park, the high speeds attained here make this a dangerous circuit.
All right, here we go. I'm getting used to this. The view from the front as the pace car pulls into the pits. A.J. Foyt along the outside. Bobby Grimm, who we haven't heard a lot from, is starting directly behind me, and we're underway here at Langhorne Speedway. Not even moving up into fifth gear as Grimm takes second away from AJ, so thank you, Bobby Grimm, for giving me a little bit of breathing room in the championship, and now AJ goes back through, so AJ up to second. I don't know if I'm going to be able to beat him in the championship if he keeps finishing second. This is exactly what I didn't want to happen. I mentioned that in the Milwaukee video, is that if AJ keeps finishing second, it's very hard for me to take the championship, and Lord knows I don't want it to come down to the 50-lapper at Trenton. Even though this car is the best I've ever had, it is the car that I think I can get a victory in at Trenton. It's probably the best car I've had a shot to win at Trenton in, well, since the Epperly in 1961, but you know, we're 3 years down the line from that in the game's timeline, so, you know, man, oh man. And AJ's sticking with me. He's only 2 seconds behind. They're really not falling away. Then again, I've been beaten here before by Parnelli Jones. I believe that was 1962. I was beaten here the year before in 1963 because of the fact that I decided to use the really crappy Curtis car with the Novi engine here, and boy oh boy was that not a good car engine track combination for sure. But again, only 2 seconds ahead of AJ, just kind of driving fairly conservatively. You may have noticed that the car at the back of the field, even though it's only 18 cars here on a 1 mile oval, so it's not going to be too much traffic, but the car that's in last is 10 miles per hour slower than the pole speed, which makes you think that in 10 laps we will be lapping him, but we'll see. I'm running at 126, almost 127 miles an hour, so running right at my qualifying pace, and yet AJ's really not falling that far back. 2.5 seconds is really not that big of a gap, but we're already 5 laps into a 25-lapper here at Langhorne. These races always go by incredibly quickly, and this is going to be no exception as well. As I push out wide a little bit, I have to cross the line there in a bit of a compromising position. Right down on the grass a little bit. On the grass again. Sure, why not? On the grass. Keep hitting that grass, David. And still just not really pulling away from AJ. He's hanging tough at 2.5 seconds. Boy, if I get bad, if traffic holds me up, I think AJ could get there. We'll see. And I'm definitely using up my tires quite a bit as well. AJ's back there, but he's not really back there, if that makes any sense to say. So keep getting on the grass. Hey, it keeps the car turning. I'm all good with it. This car slides just a little bit out. 2.6 seconds is Supertech's back.
Car number 68 appears to have
Uh-oh. Car 68 in trouble. We'll find out who that is, as AJ and Parnelli are the cars directly behind me, and Roger Ward has moved up into the points positions. So they're making up for lost ground to Jim Clark, or taking advantage of Jim Clark's absence to make up some points. Now, where is that car that came out of the pits is my question, and I don't see him, so I'm sure we'll be coming up on car 86 here in a bit. Is that Johnny Rutherford? Yeah, they said Johnny Rutherford, but he's in 9th place, so why was he in the pits? Or 68, that would be Wenty. That would make more sense. I'm maybe a bit dyslexic on that one. I may have heard the wrong, or may have heard the right number, but my brain thought it was the wrong number. Oh no. Well, anyway, Lloyd Ruby is kind of being the jam car for Roger Ward. In fact, I would like Roger Ward to get up to 2nd place. That would be the best thing for me in the championship, or maybe even Don Branson. If Don Branson gets up in the second, then I won't have to worry about anybody really making up a whole lot of points on me. But again, friggin' AJ Foyt, 2.6 seconds behind, holding down second place and holding down second place points, more importantly. So he'll be at 28, I'll be at 23, I believe. It will come down, the points lead of AJ. It will come down to 5, but again, in some ways I'm going to have to rely on my performance in the Trenton race and whether or not that's going to determine whether I'm going to be a champion. Because I think I can probably dominate Milwaukee again, assuming I don't get caught up in somebody else's mess, which is certainly possible considering all the lapping that happens in the 200-mile Milwaukee race, but I don't know. This is one of those things that you just don't know. It's going to be a nail-biting, very exciting 1964 championship. And this is why we award championships based on points. Because even if the individual races aren't that exciting, the implications, to use a Rick Allen term, are very interesting. So I'm right on the white line there, working up the track just a little bit, getting on the throttle, and going on the grass. Car 68 in the pits. Again on the grass. Sliding the car just a little bit. Get her going, David. 3.5 seconds ahead of Foyt, so I continue to put more ground on Supertex. But it's not quite enough that I'm comfortable yet. Not quite enough that I'm comfortable. So get on that grass. Just keep getting on that grass. That's the fast way around Langhorne, on the grass. It's a dirt track, or it used to be a dirt track. I'm going to drive it like a dirt track. 10 to go, crossing the line now, as I start lap number 15. Oh, I guess this would be 11 to go, considering how this game counts the laps. So, 11 laps to go here at Langhorne. And again, just making my way as carefully as possible, but still using that grass to my advantage. Coming up behind the lapper. I said it would be lap him in 10 laps. It's really been 15, and we're not even to the back of him yet. But this is going to be a crucial time in the race, because again, if he holds me up, AJ's going to pounce, and if AJ pounces here, that's really bad, because that means I have to win at Trenton. I'm not guaranteeing myself Milwaukee, but again, if I had to pick one over the other that I thought, hey, I could probably pull that one off, it would be Milwaukee over Trenton. And I've got to get another gimme win here, especially because AJ's going to finish second, at least right now. Lap traffic could have something to say about that about AJ, though, too. If this lap car gets to AJ before the end of the race, which I'm a little bit skeptical about, John Power here, that could hold AJ up just enough that Parnelli could sneak through, and wouldn't that be interesting? But John Power gets out of the... well, maybe... I'm pushing up into him a little bit, but he did a good job of staying out of my way. That was more my fault, almost pushing up into him. So I'll apologize to him after the race, as we've got 7 laps remaining. Just keeping a fairly consistent pace, 125 miles an hour. Don't need to push it too hard. And again, just turning into the corner, into the corner, into the corner. Andale, andale. Getting it on the grass once again. The grassy knoll here at Langhorne. And way out, a little bit wide there as I cross the start-finish line. My hand always gets cramped here because I'm really honestly just holding the controller at a constant rate. And my hand always goes numb, my left one. So I'm just holding the stick to the left at the same angle for the entire lap. I quite imagine that the actual drivers at Langhorne felt similar about their left hands after the race. So I guess that's realistic in some respects. As Supertex falls behind even further. And I'm continuing to close in on these lap cars just out in front. The back end slides just a little bit. Actually, it slides a lot. Come on, car. 4 laps to go. Well, no, 5 laps to go because it's lap 21. I keep forgetting how the lap count works. Give me a break. And I think AJ's being held up by the lap car. It's hard to tell. I'm just kind of looking at gaps right now. But considering he's kind of falling back, it's now 4.5 seconds. I would assume that if he's not getting held up by the lap car, he's just turning significantly slower lap times for whatever reason. Alright, 4 laps to go here at Langhorne Speedway. A couple of rear engine cars, it looks like, or at least one rear engine car up here in front of me. So I clip the grass. So much grass clipping. I'm cutting targets grass. Give me a break. You know, I wonder when they built the target how many racing relics they dug out of the ground unintentionally. Makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, even if they tore it down, what if there were some programs or beer cans or tickets, all sorts of things that could be underneath there that we'd never know about. So I drive underneath a roadster and a rear engine car. So nice diversity at the back of the field. That's always a good thing. 2 to go here at Langhorne Speedway. A nice leisurely drive for me, but again, AJ Foyt sitting second, not helping me out any. But Lloyd Ruby, I saw, is up to second. So thank you, Senpai Ruby. Save me. Get Foyt out of here, but he's 2 seconds behind. Parnelli choked a little bit. He's back to 5th. So that may be eliminating Parnelli from the championship hunt. As we'll finish this race, it'll mean there's 2 races to go, Milwaukee and Trenton once again. And as we continue this career mode, the tracks are going to get varied a little bit. Hanford Motor Speedway's up. That's a tri-oval similar to Pocono, but it's a 1.5 miler versus Pocono's 2.5 miler. Then the road course at Riverside and the Roval at Milwaukee. Yes, Milwaukee has a Roval apparently. But regardless, the circular driving is complete, and I take my 2nd win of the season, and the 2nd win in a row, and it really should have been 3rd win in a row, but the pole positions are, I guess, what I'll have a hat trick in, and the wins not quite. So Foyt takes 2nd, Ruby takes 3rd, Ward 5th, Jones, Branson 6th, Rutherford 7th, Cheeseburg finishes 8th and gets the last championship point. So once again, here we are in a hot fight for the championship, and AJ is going to be at 28, I'm going to be at 23, so 5-point swing, meaning I need AJ to finish below 4th place at some point so I can make up some points on him. We'll see how that all goes in the next race. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube. Subscribe for more Indy 500 content and Indy 500 Evolution, and we'll see you in the next video.